Well, prior to joining the Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore last year, I was a submariner in the Republic of Singapore Navy. So during my 27-year career with the Navy, I was given privilege of commanding 2 submarines and even the submarine squadron. Hence, I have personal experience with safety at sea, as well as an intimate knowledge of being underwater. Definitely not by accident, but by deliberate design. For us submariners, safety to us can be distilled to a very basic equation. And can you guess what this equation is? Well, the equation is just simply that the number of dives must equal to the number of surfaces. Okay, so 1 to 1, right? So you can't have an odd number. But safety is certainly more than a basic equation. It requires an entire ecosystem, from the leadership to systems and processes to culture and to individuals within the organization, and how everyone has a part to play. Well, most of us should have had the opportunity to travel on board a Boeing 737 plane, right? Do you know how many different components there are in a 737? I was told 367,000 parts. Just think about it, 367,000 parts. And can you imagine the discipline, expertise, precision, synchronization, and competency needed to put them all together to make it work? And we don't really think about it when we board a plane, right? There is an inherent trust in the entire ecosystem that ensures the safety of the plane and its passengers. With that, allow me to share a little bit about Safety at Sea Singapore campaign, why it is important for the Maritime Port Authority of Singapore to take the lead, what are the focus areas, and how you can be a part of this effort to ensure safer seas for all. Shipping, as we all know, is the backbone of our global economy. 90% of world trade is carried by some 50,000 merchant ships and manned by more than 1 million seafarers. On the global cruise front, we are told that the cruise industry carried a total of more than 27 million passengers just last year. But what's really mind-boggling is the global ferry industry that transports some 2.1 billion with a B, passengers per year. That's almost equivalent to 30% of the world's population. Just imagine the scale. Therefore, it goes without saying that safety at sea not only prevents economic losses, but more importantly, protects people and the environment from harm. Let me show you a few charts and statistics from 2 sources listed on the IMO's Maritime Security Committee website to give a quick overview on the state of maritime safety. When you look on this chart, the good news is that working collectively as a global shipping community, we have seen the number of ship losses at sea falling steadily over the past decade. So according to the Safety and Shipping Review 2018, just released recently by Allianz, shipping losses have declined by 38%. So if you can see on the chart, from 151 in 2008 to 94 in 2017. Next chart. According to the European Maritime Safety Agencies, or EMSA, annual overview of marine casualties and incidents 2018 also, the number of fatalities have also declined from 2015. However, we note that cargo ships and fishing vessels account for most of these fatalities. In addition, fatalities occurred mainly during a flooding, foundering, or collision, which are typical navigational events. Well, injuries, on the other hand, have not seen a similar decline, and the numbers have remained largely steady in the past 3 years. It is noteworthy, therefore, in terms of injury distribution based on vessel type, that passenger ships saw the most, followed by cargo ships and fishing vessels in that order. And similar to fatalities, more than half of the injuries occurred during navigational events, like contact, collision, and grounding. Hence, just by looking at the available data, we can observe that navigational safety is a key area of concern. In the process of investigating thousands of accidents and finding out why they occur, in terms of root causes, it was found that human error accounted for more than half of these accidents. So broadly from these statistics which I've highlighted, maritime safety has indeed made notable improvements in some areas. Well, such an improvement is only possible when each and every one of us takes personal responsibility to put safety first. However, one accident is still one too many, and we, as a global maritime community, must not be complacent, and we must continue to work at it. Singapore, as a key hub port and a littoral state to a busy international waterway, has always made safety at sea a critical area of focus. Safety is therefore no less important as competitiveness, growth, efficiency, sustainability, and security of the port. In Singapore, there were more than 830,000 vessel movements in our waters last year. Despite the heavy traffic, the number of major incidents has dropped over the last 10 years also, from about 1 incident per 100,000 vessel movements in 2008 to less than 0.3 per 1,000 vessel movements last year. So that's a significant drop. The Safety at Sea Singapore campaign, therefore, aims to address the two major areas of concern decisively, which are, as I elaborated earlier, navigational safety and the human element. Through three key objectives as shown. Hence, the campaign is an industry-wide effort to increase awareness of safe practices and inculcate a safety-first culture at sea. As part of the framework, MPA will work with the maritime community on instilling a strong safety culture, enhancing communication and information sharing, and improving the safe passage of vessels. Launched in 2014, the Singapore campaign has seen key milestones over the past 5 years, with the creation of the National Maritime Safety at Sea Council in 2015, the organization of the first International Safety at Sea Conference in 2016, with our Minister of Transport, Mr. Khaw Boon Wan, as the guest of honor, and IMO Secretary General, Mr. Kitat Lim, as the keynote speaker. Last year, we saw the production of the ferry safety video and the inaugural Community of Practice Forum on maritime safety. This year, the highlight was an industry co-funding framework to enhance the life-saving appliances on board MPA licensed regional ferries and a revamp of the MPA Safety at Sea Awards. There are three key pillars that underpin the Singapore campaign. The first, which I talked about earlier, is the National Maritime Safety at Sea Council, which was formed in June 2015, with a 15-member advisory board to MPA on maritime safety matters. The second is the MPA Industry Safety Working Groups, which are designed to discuss safety issues and initiatives for specific maritime sectors. And the third is the International Safety at Sea Week in Singapore, to serve as a focal point for the maritime community to come together to learn and share ideas on maritime safety. So let me elaborate a little bit on each pillar. The National Maritime Safety at Sea Council spearheads and sustains safety efforts at the national level, as well as evaluates and endorses safety initiatives. The council is chaired by Rear Admiral retired Richard Lim, a former Chief of Navy of the Singapore Navy, and former Chief Executive of the Defence Science and Technology Agency, amongst his many key appointments throughout his career. The Vice Chairman is Mr. Michael Poon, the Executive Director of the Singapore Shipping Association. The other members of the council include professionals from across the maritime industry, and since 2015, they have been working hard with members of the maritime industry in Singapore, as well as overseas, to raise safety standards. There are currently 5 MPA industry working groups in collaboration with the Singapore Shipping Association, with more than 450 corporate members in the shipping industry. With the Association of the Regional Ferry Operators representing 8 regional ferry operators, almost 60 ferries that transport more than 6.5 million passengers between Singapore and various destinations in Malaysia and Singapore, as well as the harbourcraft community because of the relative large number of harbourcraft in Singapore waters, and the pleasure craft community as well, with PSA Marine that also provides pilotage services. With these key stakeholder groups, MPA works closely on specific areas of concern and implement the necessary measures to enhance safety. Last but not least, the third pillar is International Safety at Sea Week. Key events during the week are the flagship international conference, exhibition booths, thematic workshops, industry visits, speakers dinner, and a safety awards presentation. So this year, in June, we had the pleasure of Dr. Heike Dickum, the director of the International Maritime Organization's Maritime Safety Division, as well as Commander Noguchi, the chairman of the ENF committee at ILA. And we had also 15 exhibitors participating in the exhibition to showcase the latest technological developments to enhance safety in the area of systems and training. Well, the next International Safety at Sea Week will be held also in Singapore next year from 26th to 30th August. So please mark your calendars now. It's a free event just like this wonderful conference. Okay, I've got this lady trying to keep the time. So I'll go through very quickly my last 3 slides. So we've had several posters as part of a campaign besides the 3 pillars. So you're free. I think we've got extra posters there for you to collect if you think these will be useful in terms of your safety campaigns within your organization. So please take the time to have it. So these will revamp this year. And we had several initiatives to look at the different aspects of near-miss reporting and looking at revisions in terms of procedures within Singapore Port to make sure that our procedures are safer. And we've got a whole range of different initiatives that we have re-implemented to make sure that we can reach out to all aspects of the maritime industry. I mean, for Singapore, it represents 7% of our GDP. It covers more than 5,000 maritime companies and more than 170,000 workers. So indeed, a large community for us. So let me conclude. I started out explaining the impetus of Safety at Sea Singapore campaign. Why is it important to focus on navigational safety and the human element? I described the 3 key pillars that underpin our campaign, from the National Maritime Safety at Sea Council, the 5 MPA industry working groups, and the annual International Safety at Sea Week. I also shared about the various initiatives that MPA is rolling out. It is our hope that the future of maritime safety will be brighter and safer. And looking at the current trends, there is quite confidence that we can all achieve that. Well, a well-known American management expert once said, and he is the late Mr. Peter Drucker, that the best way to predict the future is to create it. Let me say it again. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Hence, it won't happen by accident. We need everyone to play their part to create this future, and we can all make a difference. Thank you very much.